This is my treat to myself. I saw an ad at 1-800-Flowers for this, what do I want to say, preserved wreath, heart-shaped wreath, and I just fell in love with it. So I decided I was treating myself to a Valentine's Day gift. So isn't that fun? So, you know, so often we're doing for others and we forget to do for ourselves. So this is one of those things I've done for myself. So I'm really excited about it. And because it's not fresh, it's preserved, I can store it in a box and use it time and time again. I also thought it would be a pretty like bridal shower or wedding decoration as well. But for me, it's a Valentine decoration that I treated myself to. Okay, so enough of that. We have a lot going on in Stampin' Up. First of all, on Friday, can everybody hear me okay? Can somebody give me a heads up or something, or thumbs up? Thanks, Pat. Hi, Tyler. Okay. If you are watching and have not already commented, please comment, because I am going to be giving away my cards at the end of this Facebook Live. And if you have commented, you will be entered into the drawing to receive these cards. Okay, and as you can see, your screen is vertical again. I have no idea what is the difference between why sometimes I can make it go horizontally and you see the picture well, and I don't know. But anyways, and it seems to happen the most on this Facebook page, not so much my other groups. So I'm gonna try to contact somebody through Facebook and see if there's a way I can fix that. But anyways, this Friday, February 15th, starts the beginning of our Sale-A-Bration second release promotion. Okay, as you know, Sale-A-Bration has been in full swing since early January. Many of you have taken advantage of that and placed orders and received free products from our Sale-A-Bration brochure. I'm looking for some people that are going to want to host parties or have a private Stampin' Up! Class with me, and you can earn extra Stampin' rewards with your party. And I also have had and continue to look for many new people to purchase the Stampin' Up! Starter Kit, which is a fabulous idea. $175 worth of product for just $99 plus tax, free shipping. It's amazing. So if you've ever thought about joining Stampin' Up! For extra income or to make new friends and unite with people over a common interest of stamping and paper crafting, now is a great time. If you just love Stampin' Up! Products and want to take advantage of this fabulous kit deal, it truly is the best deal we are offering. Just please message me and let me know. Okay, so let's take a look inside here. This is the new second release Sale-A-Bration brochure. So on the back and on this page are the items we've already been offering as free products with either a $50 order, and then we've had a few with that you can get free with a $100 order. Okay, does anybody have a favorite among those? Every time I think I've named my favorite and I move on to something else, that becomes my favorite. So now we have some more choices, and these are choices that are in addition to what we're already offering. They do not take the place of the first Sale-A-Bration brochure. These are in addition to. So we have the All Adorned stamp set, and tonight I'll be using the Miss You sentiment there. We have a lovely new embossing folder called Country Floral. Let me show it to you like this so you can perhaps see it a little bit better. Okay. And it just is incredible. It's one of those dynamic embossing folders, which means it embosses and debosses at the same time. So in other words, the cardstock or paper you're using is being pushed up and down at the same time. That's why we call it dynamic. Okay, embossing pushes the paper one direction only. Okay, but you can see it, and it's just gorgeous, just gorgeous. Okay, and then we also have a bundle that can be one of your choices for free with a $100 purchase, and I just love it. It's the Painted Seasons stamp set with the Painted Seasons designer series paper, and you've got to see what this looks like. Okay, so we've got two new items you can purchase, get free with a $50 purchase, and one bundle that you can get free with a $100 order. Okay, Painted Seasons. I love this. Okay, oh, one neat thing about this brochure has 4, normally we have 6 different sheets, 2 of each. This has 4 different sheets, and you get 3 of each, okay? 4, so kind of representing the 4 seasons, okay? Trying to watch comments here. If you're watching and have not commented, please do, so I can add you to the drawing. Okay, but this one would be winter and awesome for Christmas as well. I thought if you're working on Christmas cards early, this is fabulous. If you have Christmas photos that you want to scrapbook, this is lovely. Okay, and the back has this pool party pattern. This would be, I guess, well, I don't know if I have them. I guess this could be spring, maybe summer. Okay. Lots of vivid colors with the Petal Pink, Grapefruit Grove, and Poppy Parade. What a nice combination that is. And it's got a Call Me Clover pattern on the back. Here is, was it last year or 2 years ago? We had a succulent stamp set, and it was so very popular, so popular. And succulents continue to be a popular trend in crafts and home decor, things like that. So here is Summer Succulents, and there is the back pattern in Grapefruit Grove. And then this, I think, would be used for fall, okay? Got beautiful fall colors in the mushrooms and greenery, and then it's got Poppy Parade pattern on the back. So that is 1/2 to the Painted Seasons bundle. Okay, so fabulous, right? Okay, so I'm going to be using some of those things today. I'm also going to use one of the first a stamp set from one of the first celebration brochures. I'm going to say, use I'm so glad you are part of my story. And if you're like me, you believe that people don't just show up in your life. Maybe God puts us on each other's paths for a reason. So that's what I love about that one. Okay. Now I also wanted to tell you about, and where's my little flyer? In addition to the second round of celebration, and I promise you, we're going to have great cards for you to see shortly, okay? In addition to the second round of celebration beginning Friday, the month of March will be hosting celebration coordination. Now, I know this is a few weeks out, but I want to give you a bit of what this is about, okay? These are products, 6 products that will be for sale the month of March only, and they have been specifically designed to coordinate. That's the name, Celebration Coordination. They have been specifically designed to coordinate with all of 2000 or many of 2019 celebration products, okay? And one of those we're going to use, actually 2 of them, we're going to use tonight. The 4 Seasons Framelits dies coordinates with that Painted Season stamp set I showed you, and we'll also be using the new story label punch. And I know you're like me, we love our punches. Just make paper crafting fun and easy. Okay, so here are cards I've made this afternoon. Okay, and these feature, I guess, a couple of the papers from the Painted Season bundle. I've got the succulents, and then I also took this pool party pattern from the back of that winter paper. Okay, so that's what I'm using here. So the featured colors are the pool party and the lemon lime twist. Okay, I've used that gorgeous country floral dynamic embossing folder here. Okay, so aren't they lovely? I love this one, the tone on tone. I've added a couple of embellishments. Okay, this card features the framelits that coordinate with the Painted Season stamp set, as well as that new, what was it called? Story label punch. Okay. And then the last one I did on our smaller 3.5 by 5 inch note cards and envelopes. You know, those are one of my favorite products in the catalog. I just think it's such a fabulous value. It's a great value. You get 20 of the pre-cut scored note cards and envelopes. And these are mailable size. They're a little bit smaller than our standard A4 cards, but they are mailable. Okay. And this one I did a miss you card. Okay. So right now I'm going to show you how to kind of remake these, but I'm using, or I can say casing, I'm using a different color scheme. Okay, so this one I'm using the grape, Call Me Clover as my main color. Okay, and this is again the tone on tone card. Okay, this is much harder when it's not letting me show you things horizontally. So we'll do the best I can. I want you to be able to see that as we're working on it. So I have my standard 5.5 by 8.5 inch card that I scored at 4 1/4 on the long side and folded in half. I put a 5 1/4 by 4 inch Whisper White piece inside. And now I'm going to add this piece of the Painted Seasons Designer Series paper. Again, cut 5 1/4 by 4 inches. I will have measurements for all of these on later in the week on my blog, the Stampin' Piece blog. Okay. Now I have a piece of 4 1/4 inch by 3 inch Call Me Clover that I've already run through that beautiful country floral embossing folder. Okay. I'm going to put a piece of the Whisper White woven ribbon on there. And many of you have seen this trick before, but if you haven't, take a good look. I just simply hold that ribbon over the front where I want it. I'm probably about 1 inch in. And then I've put adhesive in the back where I want to fold over the ends. Okay. Whoops. And I do it just like that. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and put this on my card front. And I'm just going to center it. You know, you could do whatever you like. If you want to twist it, should we do something different? Okay, let's do something different. Because I didn't really wait for you to answer, but hey, sometimes the mood strikes me and I think, oh, let me put a little twist on this, okay? And this would be an example of what we call casing in the Stampin' Up! World. Copy and share everything. I'm sharing this with you, and now I'm copying it, and I'm going to share this also. And sometimes when we case exactly make exactly the same thing, and other times we change it up and put our own twist on it. Hi there, Joyce and Carol. Carol Depker is one of my cousins, so it's always fun to see her on here. I did go ahead and stamp an image on my envelope previously. I stamped with Grapefruit Grove ink and Call Me Clover ink. Hi, Sue. Okay, so now I'm going to stamp on a scrap of white. Where's my, here it is. And I'm going to continue with my tone on tone. Hi, Terry. I'm going to continue with my tone on tone theme of the Call Me Clover. And this is the stamp I'm using. I'm so glad you are part of my story. And the stamp set it's from is Part of My Story, which is a free celebration item. Okay. Now, one thing I want to mention to you is if I stamp it like this right here in the middle, you can see I'm not going to be able to punch it out easily. Okay. So I either need to punch it close to the side so I can go in like this to punch it, or I need to turn it the same direction as my punch. Okay. So I think I'll do it that way. But that is one thing for you to consider when you are preparing to stamp and punch. I want to set that out of the way. And again, I believe this was called the Story Label Punch. Let me look. Yes, Story Label Punch. Okay. And we're going to use this on the next card as well in a very different way. Okay. There we go. And again, I'm referring back to this. So I want to adhere it to my card front now, and I'm going to use dimensionals to do that. One thing, since I am going over the ribbon, I don't really like to adhere the dimensionals right to the ribbon, and the reason being is that I have not secured the ribbon in front. I've only secured it in the back, okay? So I'm going to set my dimensionals to the left and right so they adhere to the cardstock and not just the ribbon, okay? Now, on this one, I had a couple of the glitter enamel dots, which are fun to use. They come in 4 colors. So I pulled a couple of those off. This time, I'm going to use some of the clear epoxy dots, okay? This came in a set of clear and frosted epoxy dots. And to be honest, I can't remember if they're in the annual catalog or if they were in the holiday catalog. But either way, I've got them and I'm going to use them up. Now, one thing I'm going to do is first color mine with my Call Me Clover, Dark Call Me Clover Stampin' Blend, okay? You know that Stampin' Blend markers are alcohol-based, so therefore they are permanent. So they're great for coloring on epoxy embellishments, rhinestones, pearls, that sort of thing. You can even color on ribbon, which is fabulous. And, you know, we could color on ribbon with our regular Stampin' Write markers, but because those are water-based, they will rub off onto our cards, the envelope, our hands when we're working, whatever. But you can color your ribbons with the Stampin' Blends as well. And I like to go over both sides, make sure it soaks in all the way, okay? Isn't that pretty? Okay. And I would have to let it dry, of course, but when I do, you can see now it's not quite dry. It's coming off on my finger, so I'm just going to put my fingers on that Simply Chamois and get the ink off, okay? But if you're coloring ribbon, you want to do both sides, and then you want to set it aside until it's dry before you use it. So if you know for sure that you're going to be making something with ribbon that you want to color, I would suggest you color with the ribbon, or color the ribbon with the Stampin' Blends first, and that gives it plenty of time to dry. Okay, so now I'm going to use my take your pick tool and lift up. Whoops, got away from me. I'm going to lift up those embellishments and stick them right on my card, on that label, top and bottom of that label. Okay, pretty, isn't it? Okay, now if you want to add a little, you can see that I told you I already stamped my envelope, but if you want to add a little bit more to the inside of your card, you could do something like this. Okay, and maybe even some up here. Alrighty, so it's always fun to dress up the envelopes as well as maybe add a little something inside. Okay, so there's that one. Okay, good case, you like it? Okay, let's move on to the next card. Okay. So here's my second card that I showed you, okay? And I want to make sure I'm not getting ink where I don't want it. Okay. And you probably didn't see what I just did, but I have my Simply Chamois here in this wonderful little plastic case that I made, and I put some fun designer series paper in there. But if I get it on my fingers, get ink on my fingers while I'm working, I just kind of dab my finger into the chamois and it pulls off most of that ink. But you can see now I'm not getting that ink anywhere. Okay, so just a quick little trip. You don't always have to run to the bathroom or pull out wipes to clean up your fingers. Okay, so I've already pre-cut some of the things we'll be using. This time I'm using and it ends up being the very same size as the previous card, that 5.5 by 4.25 A4 size. But this time I've cut my cardstock in the opposite direction. You still get 2 cards from one sheet of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. So it's cut 11 inches by 4.25. I scored it 5.5, folded in half. Okay, now I'm going to set this aside a minute. Okay, I've got Call Me Clover, 5.25 by 4 inches, and then I'm going to add this piece of designer series paper showing the Call Me Clover pattern, and it is 5 inches by 3.75 inches. Okay, I'm dropping a 1/4 inch each time. And then I'm going to add this piece with these lovely flowers. I really don't know what kind of flowers these are, but they are lovely. And I'm just gonna adhere this one on top of the first designer series paper, just about, maybe 3/8 of an inch or so, 1/2 inch, not quite 1/2 inch. It's about 3/8 of an inch from the side. It doesn't really matter, just eyeball it, okay? Keep things simple. I'm not going to adhere this to my card front yet because we are going to, or I am going to, I always say we, I guess because I like working with other people. And I'm going to punch out, whoops, I just dropped it. So I'm going to punch out another one. Okay, I'm going to punch out a label. And now I'm going to use, I just did it again, stuck my finger in that ink pad. Okay, so now I'm going to use my Crocodile. This is something Stampin' Up! Sold way back in the day. And it's the only hole puncher I keep just because I love it so much. It can punch holes in multiple sheets of cardstock at a time, which is often what I use it for. So that's why I like to keep this one around and use it. Okay, now, and I've cut a good length of white baker's twine. And I'm going to pull one end from the front to the back, and I'm going to take that same end of the baker's twine and pull it from back to front. Okay, so this is what I have so far. All right, now before I tie that, I'm going to secure this label in place with a couple of dimensionals, and I'm not going over the baker's twine with it. Okay, I'm going to put this in place where I want it. Oh, right about there. Okay, this would have been another card where you could turn it the other direction. Okay, then I'm going to wrap the baker's twine around, and I'm going to tie it in front. Okay, I'm going to first tie a knot. You don't necessarily have to tie a knot, but sometimes with the baker's twine, it is easier to tie the knot first and then tie the bow. I don't always do that with ribbon because that can be can get a little bit bulky at times depending on the size of your ribbon. With baker's twine and linen thread, I usually do tie a knot first. Oh my gosh, you probably can't hear it, but the wind outside is crazy. It is just whistling and howling, and wow. Plus I have wind chimes out front that a friend gave me when my mom died, and I'm listening to those, and I love that sound, and love my friend and the memories of my mom, so I just notice it more when the wind is blowing so hard. Okay, now I'm ready to put this on the front of my card. What do you think so far? Okay, do you like the cards? Are you enjoying the Painted Seasons bundle? So there's a little trick that you can use, and you can do this with any label, okay? Any label, any ribbon that you can pull through the holes, okay? Now we're going to do a little stamping, okay? I'm going to I should have a little table to my right that I can just, the things I've used and I'm finished with, set them over there and kind of clear space as I go. But oh well, that's life, right? Okay, so now I'm using the Grapefruit Grove ink, and I'm first going to stamp. Whoops, I should have the flower. Here it is. Sorry about that. I was still on the succulents and I wanted to move to the flower. And I guess that is a succulent that I stamped on that first envelope, but no worries. And I don't even have my label on this yet, but that's okay. We'll just do a switcheroo. Oh, one thing I should mention, with the new cling stamps, those labels do cling very securely. If you leave them on a little bit long, you never just want to just rip them off, okay? Because they do hold more securely to the block, and if they've been on there for a while or you're having a little trouble pulling it up, I would suggest using the spatula end of your take your pick tool, and it's flexible. Can you see it bending there? And I just go under the edge a little bit and lift up that edge, and then I'm ready to pull it off, okay? If you pull too fast or too hard, you could actually rip the foam backing on your stamp, okay? So just a little precaution there. Okay, so here's my beautiful flower. I'm going to stamp it in the corner of my envelope. Isn't that pretty? Okay. Now I'm also going to stamp it on a piece of scrap paper. Okay. I'm also going to stamp some of these green leaves. And And I'm spacing those leaves out. The reason being, here's a super, super cool thing about the framelit set. Okay, the 4 Seasons framelit set that coordinates with the Painted Seasons stamp set. In here, you have 1 flower framelit, you have 1 succulent framelit, and 1 framelit to coordinate with the pine cone, okay? Then we have these other leaves, leafy branches. This one actually kind of looks like a fern to me. But anyways, because we often like to add multiples of the leaves behind our flowers and such, Stampin' Up! Has given us 2 framelits for that large leaf, 2 for the medium-sized leaf, and then 3 for the smallest size leaves, okay? So if I stamp my flower and all 3 of those leaves, I'll be able to cut them all out at the same time, okay? So let me grab my Big Shot, and we will do that right now. I will do that right now. I guess I think I'm, that you're playing along at home with me. And that's why I say we. Okay, I'm also want to show you another helpful tip here. And I'll need washi tape for that. So, I've got my magnetic platform, one of my cutting plates. Ugly, but oh so useful, right? After you've used it so many times. And I did not mark my framelit and stamp set or stamp to match, but you just spin it around until you get the shapes to match up. Then I'm going to add these little leaves. Okay, now you know if you've worked with the magnetic platform a lot, these little framelits tend to jump around a bit, and you know, I might get one in place, but then, you know, maybe this one just doesn't want to go. It kind of keeps jumping, okay? And the reason they jump is the magnetic platform is not made up of a single magnet. It's made up of lots of small magnets put together, okay? And if you know, opposites attract and that sort of thing. So that's why your little framelits can sometimes jump around like that. So to prevent them from moving while I'm rolling them through the Big Shot, I just add a little bit of washi tape, okay? And fortunately, when I moved, this roll of washi tape was packed with my Big Shot, because there are 2 things I have yet to find since I moved. And the one is my labeler that I use on some of my different products and organizational things. And the other thing is I had a whole drawer full of washi tape. I have yet to find it. So chances are it got packed with, I don't know, dishes or something, china or something, just to fill a box. And I have not unpacked every box yet. Okay, so there you can see, one sweep through the Big Shot is all I need to do, even though I'm cutting out 4 different pieces. Okay. So there's my flower. And I'll also suggest that when you're working with these things, especially if you've already got the magnetic pieces to put them on, or even if you have a little magnetic tray or anything like that. I know sometimes mechanics have them for their little nuts and bolts, but put them back right away. It's the safest way to not lose those pieces, okay? All right, going back to the card. Here's my sample, my first one I made. Okay. I'm going to add the flower with dimensionals. No surprise there, right? You know how I love using dimensionals. It just completely changes the look of our projects. Okay, and I'm just centering that over that story label punch. Okay, so in my first card, I used the story label punch to actually, to actually make a true label with a sentiment. And this time, I'm just using it as a background for one of my stamped images. Now these little leaves I'm going to add, and it'll be easy for me to tuck them under the flower because I could have even used the larger leaf on this, I think. Because I'm just going to add one glue dot. How about one here maybe? And I'm going to put a second one there. You can choose to cover up that baker's twine if you want. Doesn't really matter either way. And then I'll add one on the left side of the flower too, I think. Like that. Okay, one little glue dot will do it. Okay, and now my card is finished. So this makes a fabulous note card, or you can add a sentiment inside and use it for any kind of occasion. Okay, pretty, huh? Okay, that's the number 2 card. And lastly, my number 3 card. Here it is, okay? And again, I'm using the 3.5 by 5 inch note cards and envelopes. Okay, fabulous, fabulous deal. You get 20 note cards and 20 envelopes, $6. Can't beat it. So they're great for, I especially use them a lot for thank you notes. But, you know, if you have they'd be great for Valentine's if you're short on Valentine's. But make great birthday gifts that kids can use. Just anything you can think of. And they're small. You can write a quick short note or message and drop it in the mail real fast. Okay. So I've pre-cut things here. So let's put our card together. Now, I don't know if you can see it on here, but on this pool party, on the background, I stamped in Versamark. Okay, I used the succulent stamp and just went over the pool party with Versamark ink, and it just gives a very, very subtle stamped image to it, just creating a little bit of what do I want to say? A little something extra to the background. Okay, this one I'm going to go ahead and leave plain. You could also run it through an embossing folder. It would be neat with the leaves embossing folder, all kinds of things. Okay, and again, kind of the idea of casing. You can create a different background, change out the color. Okay, and this is 1.5 by 3.25 inch. Okay. And I'm going to go down probably about a 1/4 inch from the bottom. Again, don't measure, just eyeball it, what looks good to you. Okay, you can even move it up. It just changes the look of your card. Okay, then I have a 2 inch by 3.5 inch piece of Designer Series paper, and I want the floral pattern on front. I'm going to add it to my white cardstock. 2.25 inches by 3 3/4 of white cardstock. I'm going to pop this up on dimensionals. I'm sure you knew that, didn't you? Okay. Think about how this would look in some of the other patterns in the Painted Seasons Designer Series paper. Okay. Think of where are they? Like this fall pattern. Wouldn't that be pretty? Or this, what I call Christmassy or wintry pattern. Okay, so you could come up with a few card layouts and make cards for 4 different seasons just by changing out the colors and the Designer Series paper that you feature. Okay, I'm going to center that there. Okay, and we'll go back to that. We'll go back to that stamp set. If I can put my finger on it. Here it is. Okay. This is all adorned. It is one that you can get free with a $50 order starting on Friday. Okay. And I think on this one, instead of Miss You, I'm going to use Lots of Love. And let me pull off one of these. So notice how I'm changing these things, and I had made my sample cards ahead of time. However, I wanted to show you how then you can use cards you've already made to create something new, okay? But this one I'm going to change up from Miss You to Lots of Love. Okay. And I'm going to grab a couple punches. Okay. I think the 1-inch punch will work. I hope. Yes, it does. Okay. This is my 1-inch circle punch. And then I'm going to use the 1 1/8 inch scallop circle punch on a scrap of, I think I'm going to change my mind and use a scrap of Poppy Parade instead. There we go. Just add a little bit brighter punch of color, but it could be anything you want. Put a little adhesive on the back, center it over that scallop circle, and add it to my card front with a dimensional. Okay, where do you think it should go? Okay. Oh, you know what I think I'm going to do differently on here? I'm going to, let's do this. See how I'm kind of creating on the fly just based on my my previous cards I made. Oh, that piece isn't quite wide enough, sorry. I'm going to punch another scallop, and that one is the 1 3/8 inch. Okay, so the scallop circles are 1 1/8 and 1 3/8. And they typically coordinate with the 1-inch circle and the 1 1/4 inch circle. Okay, so I'm going to do it like this. I already put a dimensional on the back of that one, and that's A-OK. It'll just pop up off the brown scallop. And then I'm going to take, this is a fun thing I like to do. A couple ways you can do it. I'm going to put it this way. You know what? Let's change this up and make this card go the opposite direction, okay? What I'm going to do is I've put a little bit of adhesive right here that's basically going to get covered up by this scallop circle, okay? But what I'm going to do is just take my Call Me Clover ribbon. This is great for this size card because it's just 1 1/8 inch wide ribbon. Okay, and I'm just kind of going to go back and forth like that. Before I put this down, I want to make sure I got the size pretty good, which I think I did. Okay, I'm going to add some, add some adhesive over that. And then I'm going to put this, I'm going to move this because I want it to be a little more centered. There we go. Okay. And then all I have to do is trim off that ribbon. I always like to angle the ends of my ribbons. Isn't that pretty? Neat. Okay. And do you see how I went from this to this? Okay. Fun. Okay. Any questions about the cards I've made or the Sale-A-Bration second release. Okay. Let me show you the cards one more time. Boy, when I get finished with Facebook Live, I've got a mess. Okay, so we'll go backwards. Here was the original card I made featuring Pool Party and Lemon Lime Twist as the colors. Okay. And then this is the card I made, I cased. Ooh, look what I forgot. I need a flower on my envelope. No naked envelopes. Okay, there. Okay. Pretty. All right. And then my second card was this. Okay, again, I switched out the designer series paper and I switched from the succulents to the flower. Okay, but pretty much it's the same. Okay. And then the first one was that tone on tone card. Okay. I started with a Pool Party tone on tone card and I changed it up a little bit and made this one in Call Me Clover green. Who would like to win one of these 3 cased cards? Okay, I'll be giving away these green ones. Who would like to win a card? How do you win one of today's giveaway cards? You make sure that you have commented on this Facebook Live post. Okay. Any questions? Okay, would you like to see the Sale-A-Bration second release products one more time? I can run through them really, really quickly. Okay, the All Adorned stamp set. Tonight I've showed you that I used the Miss You and Lots of Love. We used the Country Floral Textured Impressions Embossing folder on those 2 tone-on-tone cards. Okay. Another thing that you can do with this is you could emboss it with white cardstock and then use some markers or perhaps blender pens or Stampin' blends, aqua painters, whatever, to color the flowers and leaves, etc. Okay. And then the super featured product from tonight was the Painted Seasons bundle, which includes that lovely seasonal designer series paper as well as the Painted Seasons bundle. And then I also brought in one of the Sale-A-Bration coordination products, the 4 Seasons framelits, and I also added the story label punch for a couple of the cards. Again, the Sale-A-Bration second release begins this Friday, February 15th. Okay, got it, Tammy and everybody else? That begins on Friday. That is the first day you will have the option to get those free Sale-A-Bration products. The Sale-A-Bration coordination promotion is for the month of March only, okay? The month of March only. And you can see how these different things coordinate with some of the Sale-A-Bration products we already have. I've showed you these 2. Here's the Lily Framelits dies, okay? That coordinates with the lovely Lily stamp set that is featured in the first round of Sale-A-Bration. Okay, the Call Me Cupcake Thinlits coordinates with the Hello Cupcake Hello Cupcake stamp set, again from the first round of Sale-A-Bration. And the Hop Around Framelits dies coordinate with the, I forget what it's called, Hoppy something. That frog stamp set. Okay, really cute. And then of course these coordinate with lots of, these stamps coordinate with a lot of the different ones. For example, Today Calls for Something Sweet with extra sprinkles on top would coordinate with the Hello Cupcake stamp set, okay? We've got Easter and Christmas and different things to coordinate with the Painted Seasons bundle. What else is in here? Hopping by, jumping in, that might be used with the frog stamp set and framelits as well. So a lot of great coordination of products. One of my favorite benefits of using Stampin' Up! Products is their product coordination, whether it be color coordination between stamps, ink, and paper, markers, that sort of thing, as well as other product coordination between stamp sets and framelits and punches and designer series papers. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed tonight's Facebook Live. Look for a comment on this post a little bit later this evening after I've had a chance to submit all the names to the drawing and pull 3 prize winners, and I'll be sending out these 3 cards. Have a great night, ladies. I would love to earn your business and take your orders. I would also encourage you to take advantage of the starter kit deal that's happening right now. If you have an interest in pursuing Stampin' Up! As a business, or if you simply just want to get the fabulous starter kit deal, $175 a product, and there is truly no further obligation. You do not have to sell or hold classes or events if you choose not to. Okay? And lastly, I am happy to have you host Stampin' Up! Parties or even private classes for you and your family and friends. Please contact me and we'll schedule a date soon. Have a good night, everybody.